Hey everyone, I'm Hiro. Welcome back to the CISA exam prep series. In this video, we are covering Chapter 2, Section 1, Laws, Regulations, and Industry Standards. $1.3 billion, that's the fine Meta received in 2023 from a GDPR violation. Here's what makes this interesting. Meta is an American company headquartered in the US, but GDPR is a European regulation. So how does the European law apply to American company? The answer is simple. GDPR doesn't care where your company is based. It cares about whose data you are handling. Meta had hundreds of millions of EU users. That made them subject to GDPR. That brings us to the lesson. Rules follow the data. The moment your business touches someone's personal data, you have to know which rules govern that data. And knowing which rules apply is the foundation of IT governance. That's what this section is about. Laws, regulations, and standards. What they are, where they come from, and what auditors need to know. 3 types of rules. There are 3 types of rules in IT governance, and they work very differently. First is law. Think GDPR or SOX Act. A law is legislation enacted by Parliament or Congress. These have the highest enforcement power. Violate a law, and you face criminal penalties or heavy fines. Second is regulation. Regulations are rules issued by government agencies for specific industries, financial regulators, healthcare authorities. Violate a regulation, and you face regulatory enforcement from the responsible agency. Third is industry standard. These are best practices developed by industry groups or standards bodies. No parliament passed them. Nobody will arrest you for ignoring ISO 27001. But here's the catch. Non-compliance with the wrong standard can still destroy your ability to do business entirely. We'll see exactly how in a moment. Laws and regulations. Let's go through the key laws and regulations. GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. This is EU law governing personal data. The key concept here is this. GDPR applies to any organization that processes personal data of EU residents, no matter where that organization is based. That's why Meta got fined. Penalties can reach up to 4% of global annual revenue. SOX, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. This came directly out of Enron scandal. A major US corporation collapsed after years of fraudulent financial reporting. Congress passed SOX to prevent exactly that. It enforces transparency and integrity in corporate financial statements. HIPAA. This governs healthcare data in the United States. What makes HIPAA stand out is its penalty structure. Serious violations don't just result in fines. They carry criminal penalties, including imprisonment. Both laws and regulations are legal obligations. Violations lead to real consequences. Industry standards. Now, let's look at industry standards. They are not legally required, but don't treat them as optional. ISO IEC 27001 is the international standard for information security management. Getting certified tells your clients and partners that your security is serious. In many enterprise contracts, it's a requirement just to get in the door. COBIT is an IT governance framework developed by CISA. That's the same organization behind the CISA certification. It helps align IT strategy with business objectives. PCI DSS, Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. Not a law. No government wrote it, but it is enforced by the card networks, Visa, MasterCard, and others. If you are not compliant, they cut you off. You lose card payment access entirely. That's how much leverage a private standard can have. ITIL is a framework for IT service management, best practices for running IT operations efficiently day to day. None of these are legally mandatory, but non-compliance can shut you out of business entirely. GRC, the integrated approach. GRC, governance, risk management, and compliance. GRC is the idea that these three should work as one integrated system, not three separate teams in silos. Governance is about setting direction and monitoring performance. Are we heading the right way? Are we actually getting there? Risk management is about identifying, accessing, and responding to risks, not a one-time annual exercise, an ongoing process. Compliance is about adhering to the laws, regulations, and contracts we've been covering. Here's why integration matters. Imagine the risk team discovers a new vulnerability, but they never loop in the compliance team. The compliance team keeps operating on old assumptions. Nobody catches the gap. Something breaks. GRC prevents this by treating all three as a single, connected activity, strengthening organizational control as a whole. What auditors check? From an auditor's perspective, three things matter when evaluating IT governance. First, scope. Has the organization correctly identified all the rules that apply to them? This is harder than it sounds. A company might be fully compliant domestically, but completely unaware that GDPR applies to their European user base. Auditors map out every applicable law, regulations, and standard for every region and industry in scope. Second, framework. Is a proper compliance program actually in place? Policies documented, responsibility assigned to specific people, staff trained, monitoring active. It's not enough to say you comply. There has to be a structure that makes compliance happen. Third, effectiveness. Is it actually working? A lot of organizations have a thick compliance manual that nobody has opened in 3 years. An auditor's job is to find the gap between what's documented and what's actually happening on the ground. Let's wrap up. Laws and regulations are legally obligations. Violations lead to criminal penalties or financial fines. Industry standards, ISO 27001, PCI DSS, COBIT, and ITIL are not legally mandatory, but non-compliance can shut you out of business. Rules follow the data. Operating across different regions means complying with all applicable rules. GDPR applies even to companies based outside the EU. GRC means treating governance, risk management, and compliance as one integrated approach, not three separate silos. Auditors check three things. Scope means all applicable rules must be identified. Framework means a compliance program must be in place. Effectiveness means it must actually be working, not just documented. Alright, that's it for section 1. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.